And as a short sort of intro to this, if you like, I have been very kindly invited by BMW to a press event to come and drive an array of different cars. One of the ones I've been invited to drive is the iX M60, which immediately what you realise is has a very, very strange shaped steering wheel. I know that is going to be absolutely nothing to do with the drive, but it's the first thing you notice. Right, out we go. So as I was saying, right, I'm just going to have to organise this seat. Again, on the seat here, we've got very chintzy sort of crystal weird things. Right, we're going right out of the, whoa, fuck. It's a bit punchy. Okay, we've got electric everything.
The expected drive time
Okay.
is 11 minutes.
11 minutes?
Please follow the road for 5 miles.
So the first thing you notice is the steering wheel is extremely space age. The throttle response is very sharp and actually rather lovely. It feels massively responsive like any electric car normally does. It's ridiculously quick. This is an enormous vehicle. This is a massive car and it feels big the second you get in it, but it also doesn't feel big. It's a really weird sensation because it's got so much performance and so much immediate performance that it just feels, oh, it's got that regenerative braking. We're going to try and work out how to turn that down a bit. It seems like it has a bit of roll on when you first come off the accelerator, so it doesn't immediately grab the brake, but then it then sort of seems to get stronger, a bit harder and harder. This iX M60, let's not beat around the bush, is £120,000. It's a very, very expensive car, but it feels very, very expensive. Every single touch point in here feels expensive. The leather, which I'm not even sure if it is actually real leather, I'll have to find that one out, feels very, very expensive. The weird shaped steering wheel, I know I keep banging on about that, but this is the strangest steering wheel I've ever held. Feels kind of cool, I kind of like it. It's quite ergonomic. It's a bit weird. I haven't had to go full lock or anything yet, so we'll see what that's like. All of the diamondy sort of looking crystals all over the place. The crystal little thing here, whether they get all finger touched and dirty and sort of all mungy, I don't know, but they look really, really cool. And the gear selector down here is in the same sort of crystals. The screen in front of you wraps round in this space age sort of way. It's a really, really clever, cool place to be. I can't get over how fast the damn thing is though. It's ridiculous. What an absurd machine. And it goes around corners. It does feel heavy, but it doesn't feel like it's so oh my God. The way it goes is alarming. And the brakes obviously with that have to be exceptional, which they do feel very, very good. But they do feel a little bit sort of wooden at the top of the pedal, but then when you get into them, they are very, very strong. What a weird machine. What an amazing machine. As I say, literally, I've come along to BMW today, just outside Chippenham. They've offered me this wonderful drive in a load of their different cars. So I haven't done much research on each individual vehicle that I'm going to be driving. So this is more of a, I've just jumped in it, what's it like straight off the bat. I'm not going to be giving you massive amounts of figures and facts and all that kind of stuff because I don't want to get them wrong. And I know that you lovely people on YouTube like to pull me up on anything that is slightly off. So we'll just go with what it's like. I feel like I'm sitting a little bit too high, which I'm not a massive fan of, but that's as low as the seat will go. So I feel like I'm a little bit perched on top of the car. Other than that, it just feels like an extremely premium BMW prospect. It's very light and airy in here. It feels like I'm king of the road, if I'm totally honest with you. It doesn't feel enormous on the road. We're going down sort of relatively small roads out in the Cotswolds, and it doesn't feel overbearingly large, but it is still big. It feels safe big, it feels solid. Like you'd be happy to put your children in here and drive quickly and not worry about anything. What's that there? That's a little phone holder. You've got, oh, this sort of console-y thing here is floating, which is kind of cool. And then you've got your charging points and all that kind of stuff for your phone underneath there. And God, tell you what, it's actually a bit sort of, makes you feel a bit sick, the pace of this thing. What an amazing machine. I mean, you'd have someone come up behind you in a Porsche or something like that, and they wouldn't see which way you went. On a damp road like it is today, I'm sure if you hustled it a little bit too much, then you'd be going so fast by the time that you unstuck the car that you'd have no chance of ever regaining it and keeping it on the blacktop. Now, I picked up this car with 90% charge, or probably it had 100%, but it's got 90% charge now. Okay. It's got 90% now, which is telling me I have an estimated range of 256 miles. Now, that's acceptable, I think is the expression. All these i products in BMW these days is Hans Zimmer, the very famous composer from films, from Gladiator and things like that, that's done all of the noises in these BMWs, and that's just super cool, isn't it? I do quite like that, but it's not a particularly selling point, is it? Carrying on with the interior of this, there's all sorts of different weird sweeping shapes and leather everywhere and sort of what feels like sort of ethical materials, which, although feel, you know, premium, and what is going on here? It's doing some weird stuff on here, showing me in front. That is very strange. The nav is basically showing me like I'm a flying arrow. Whoa.
Now turn right.
Whoopsie, we're going right down here. Good. Like I'm and now it's changed back to normal. Okay, very odd. But all of the other materials in here, there's this sort of faux wood down here, which has all of the buttons sort of inlaid on it, which is really cool. The volume knob is one of those crystals as well that you roll and scroll. It's just BMW basically at the moment, as I'm sure you have seen with the new M2, with the front ends on the M4s and the M3s and all the new 3 Series, etc., are, well, for lack of a better word, they're challenging us. They're challenging us with the designs that they're bringing out, and I think that's no bad thing, because what seems to happen in the press these days is that people go, oh my word, I don't like it, it's for the Chinese market, the face is gopping, it's got 2 buck teeth, etc., etc. And then about 2 weeks later, they all go, oh, do you know what, it's grown on me, I actually quite like it now, it's the design language of the future and all this kind of stuff. You know, with all those people having to eat their words, I think that will happen with the M2 because of the box arches. Everyone will actually go, oh look, they've actually tried to make it look like an E30 M3, which is no bad thing because that's one of the best looking BMWs ever made. So with this iX M60, how do we feel about the exterior looks? I think from the back, it's a really, really good looking car. I think the front end for me, it still isn't my favourite looking car. It's just too big. I know it's the Chinese market, etc., etc. Everyone loves it, but it's just not for me. These are all subjective things, and please put down in the comments whether you like it or whether you don't. It's one of those subjective things that I think some people either love them or they hate them. It's a very Marmite sort of design language from BMW. All I can tell you is the ride is supple, it is quiet, it is light and airy in here. Shut up. It is light and airy in here.
The expected drive time is 3 minutes.
You're really annoying. With a drive like this, I can't possibly tell you whether it is going to do 250 miles to a tank of electricity. I honestly can't tell you that. But to me, as a daily driver, as someone that, say, had, you know, other things as well in their garage to, you know, light their fire on a weekend, this is a very, very impressive car, and it's exceptionally fast. like ridiculously fast. I will find out all the specs of this car and I will put it down in the description. So the 0 to 60 times, the charging times, the battery sizes, all of that kind of stuff I will put down in there. So you can time this on YouTube and I'll time it in the timestamp to see what it looks like. But this is a 0 to 60 time in an iX M60. Here we go, you ready? I've just got foot on the brake, I'm just gonna mash the throttle pedal. 60. That is madness. That is absolute madness, because this is a heavy, big car. Very heavy, very big car. It's mind-blowingly fast. I mean, like, you'll never need to do that, and it's exciting a few times. It actually makes me feel terribly unwell, but what an incredible machine. Make sure, as always, you like and subscribe. It really, really does help us out. Otherwise, the algorithm just loses these films and no one ever gets to see them. So make sure you like and subscribe them if you do like it. If you didn't like it, please do leave a comment and tell me why you didn't like it. I'll either ignore you or get in an argument with you or I'll come and explain the reasons for why. But yeah, please do like and subscribe.